What's up guys, DukeSloth here, and this is the patch notes review for Rising Flames patch 3.18 Hotel Room Edition. As many of you may know, I am in Brighton right now, and I just have this laptop in the hotel room, so the quality is gonna be crap, but I know that a lot of you want the patch notes review, and as such I will do it anyways and give you my feedback on the patch, because it's gonna be a while till I'm home, and I want to give you the information right away. So, what do we got in this patch? We got a new skin for Ne Zha, which I think is really cool. I've been waiting for a skin for Ne Zha for a long time, so that's really good. We got a skin for Shen, which is a Pokemon reference. I don't know what it looks like in-game. I haven't seen any of the in-game stuff, so I guess it's kind of cool. Aoquang Clockwork Knight, I really hope the animations are cool. The dragon looks cool, so I like that skin as well. And the Mastery skins, which I guess will look pretty good as well. So, yeah, quick glance at the audio, at the voice files.
How triggered are you right now?
Well, that's pretty edgy, but oh well.
I'm all about the fair treatment of animals. I have the koala-fications.
Jesus Christ. Somewhat sounds like the same voice actor, but oh hey. Okay, why can I not play this? Apparently I cannot play the Aoquang voice file. Sorry about that. No idea why not. And with that, we go down to the achievements. Looking at Ne Zha, got that. Then Kronos and Sylvanos. Those are the achievements you can get now. There is some new things in the Odyssey. So obviously the two skins that we just saw for Shen and Aoquang. Also a Smite Bolt global emote. Like I said, I have no idea what it looks like. I guess it's kind of cool. Chinese recall animation, or FX. Once again, I don't even know what that is, but I guess it's a new recall animation, which could be kind of cool. You guys might know more than me. Then we have a fix for the Xingtian Mountain leaderboard, just a visual one. And then we're getting to the balance changes, and this is what I'm going to address a little more extensively. We're starting with Hydra's Lament. Hydra's Lament wasn't that highly valued so far, and now it gets a very interesting buff. So now it has an additional passive. In addition to what it already offers, increases MP5 by 2.5 per 10% of your missing mana, increased physical power from 30 to 40. I have a feeling that this might actually make Hydra's Lament kinda good. The problem with Hydra's Lament is always the fact that it doesn't have penetration, that it doesn't have protection reduction, that makes it a lot weaker in terms of ability damage. Early power is just not that valuable. But with this buff, even more power, a little bit more power, and that MP5, it might be kinda nice. I'm thinking a Willish. You know, some people have been building Hydra's Lament on a Willish for a long time. I generally thought that it's not the best thing for her, but with this change you can use Suku so much more, because the MP5 is going to be ridiculous. If you go up to whatever 80% you have of your mana missing, you have 20 MP5, if I see that right. So that's pretty damn good. So those guards who can just, you know, abuse spamming abilities could probably benefit from this, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. And it could potentially, if it becomes popular, it could change the way that jungle is cleared, because usually you clear jungle with basic attacks and using one ability per camp. And if this MP5 shows to be as strong as I feel it might be, I'm not sure about this. Like 20 MP5 is not insane, but it's good. Then we might end up having a fast clear jungle meta, but I doubt it. I doubt it's going to be that much of an impact. Just theoretically, it could happen, at least for some characters. So good change in my opinion. Good change overall, despite the item not having pen. Reinforced Greaves takes the expected hit. I think the nerf was kind of odd, because like you could have just reverted the buff and the item would have been fine. And now we have Reinforced Greaves, reduced power from 15 to 10. Oh well, 5 power, who cares? Reduced health from 150 to 75. That's half of the health gone. That's significant. Crouch control reduction from 30% to 20%. I don't think that was ever a problem with the item though. I think it was good that you had that option to get that much CCR early. And the protections are reduced to 3 per stack, but now stacking up to 6 stacks. So you can get a total of 18 protections still, instead of 25. But in combination with the lowered health on it, I think, and the fact that it's 6 stacks now, it takes quite a while to stack up. I think it's not going to be as popular anymore. I think that the nerf hammer came down, it came down good. I think you'd go back to Teleria, because it's not the crazy tank animals also, you know. Like I said, I think it was good that it was nerfed. Kind of confused why it had to be hit in every area basically. And we have the same for Reinforced Shoes here. except for no reduced power there. There might be an issue with the patch notes and how they are shown here, but it seems that, you know, Reinforced Greaves takes slightly less of a hit. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Void Shield. Void Shield gets a nerf, and I'm so happy about that. Void Shield gets a nerf in two regards. Price increased by 100, 2,700 in total. And the physical protections on the item reduced from 50 to 40. Now, I'm not quite sure if it's going to throw off Void Shield entirely, but it makes it a lot less valuable as a starting jungle item. 100 gold more is not crazy, but it's a factor. And 10 protections less is not crazy, but it's a factor. And given that you want a cost-efficient, quick item early on, I think it's gonna take away from the popularity of Void Shield. You could draw the comparison to, like, not Jotuns, which would be like the starter item you're going for, but maybe rather Brawler's Beatstick and such, and the difference is still there, but not as crazy. It's still going to be a team fight utilized item as well. Not thinking it's gone complete out of the meta, but in a better place, I think. Witchblade has been a little too strong now, has become a little too strong, and the physical protection has reduced from 60 to 50. Now keep in mind that the buff was only a slight protection protection increase in the first place, so I see this being a relevant change. I see this making it a less valuable early pickup in solo lane, which is unfortunate. I kind of wanted to run Osiris with that a little more. I don't think Witchblade was that overpowered. I think it was picked up a lot. It was very popular for a while now because it just got buffed and everyone was like, oh yeah, Witchblade. But we didn't end up seeing it much on ADCs. Veneno played it on ADC once, but the problem is that you just drop off very hard in damage. We see it on stuff like Freya, who will still make the same use of it, pretty sure. We see it on solo laners and sometimes on supports, and that's pretty much it. So I don't think items are sometimes just popular because, you know, there were changes about them, not because it's crazy strong. And I don't think that Witchblade alone has impacted the win rates that drastically. But okay, it's a buff I can understand. It's a nerf I can understand. It's justifiable, whatever. Now, god changes. Agni's Flame Wave. Increase persistent time of Flame Wave from 0.5 to 1 second. So what I understand here is that the duration, the existing duration, or like where you can proc the stun of it from the Noxious Fumes, has been increased, and yeah, that's good, I guess. Yeah, yay for Agni. Nothing major really, in my opinion. Not necessarily the combo you're using all that often, anyways. So hey, okay. Chiron, Centauros fixed a rare issue where Chiron would revive even if he did not get a kill during his ultimate. I've heard about this. I've seen a video of this, and it's pretty damn frustrating. So I'm totally fine with that. Good fix. Cupid. Cupid is a little interesting one. So Cupid gets buffed all around. Apparently Cupid was underperforming, obviously, a little bit. He was just the counter raging really, and now Cupid gets all the buffs. All the buffs. So Love Struck, just, you know, adjustment, so we know what's different. Hard Bump, increased cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds, so that's a nerf primarily. Increased the radius of Hard Bomb's explosion area from 20 to 30 units. I am pretty sure that this also you get an FX to see that radius on top of that. So I'm pretty sure you will be able to hit the backline archers clear of full wave, if I'm not completely wrong, because I think that the radius should be right. And lanes are going to be a lot more dangerous against Cupid. You have to stay away a lot further. I'm not sure if the FX also counts for the enemy, so they can see the area as well. That would be a bit of a nerf at the same time, which in the context would be completely justifiable. And yeah, interesting. I think that's really strong, and I don't think that's a good idea. But let's see. Share the Love no longer consumes Love Struck hard stacks, so that's nice. That means you're gonna stun a lot more with Hard Bump. And Flutter no longer provides attack speed when cast, but now provides passive attack speed. So if you're not going into the healing, if you don't need the healing in lane too much, you're gonna max Flutter second and get that early attack speed bonus, and a lowered cooldown on top of that, going down to 12 seconds instead of 15 seconds now. So you're gonna have a lot more reliable escape and a constant steroid, or like not a steroid in that sense, but it's constantly more attack speed. Really strong in my opinion, like this passive extra attack speed. And Fields of Love is also buffed, so now it messes enemies for 1.5 seconds when activated with less than 8 hearts, and at max hearts it mesmerizes for 3 seconds. I guess the question is, does it still have the diminishing returns with Heart Bomb? So if I drop Fields of Love and use Heart Bomb afterwards, after having the stacks, would I still lose time on the stun? Because that would suck, and I think that's still the case actually. So he kind of counters himself a little bit. But at the same time, you can just use Heart Bomb first, get the major damage and the stun off, and then drop Fields of Love and mess the enemy afterwards. Just, you know, have some setup for someone else, because a mess is just going to be broken by any kind of damage anyway. So overall, makes him really strong, really strong. And I would like to see this reconsidered, at least after PTS. Well, we'll see how it develops on PTS, but I think it's going to be a little too much. A little too much. Fafnir just gets a fix, like a general fix, I think, of balance. Isis gets a nerf rewarded. She had the wing gust scaling decreased from 40 to 30 in a former patch when she was very strong with potions. Now that's going back. Now she's getting back to 40% scaling because she's been a little unpopular. I think that's for another reason but the scaling, but we'll talk about that in a second. Izanami has been significantly underperforming. Gets changes. Again. I don't even know if I still want to back him for this. This is like, now the math is gonna be really irritating, really irritating. So I have no idea how this is gonna function. She's getting a buff, base attack speed is increased, so that's nice because she was relatively slow first. She also now deals 75% of the damage going out, so while hitting the enemy, only 25 damage going in instead of 50-50. So the primary swing is becoming more important, the secondary swing is becoming less important. And that's gonna be so odd for any kind of calculation, and just go Kins again, I guess. Go Kins Malice crit, like, it's weird. I think it's really weird. And I could imagine that in the process of this, some interactions with attacks and stuff have been changed as well, with passives and stuff. Just not necessarily on purpose, but you know, because it's such a weird change. Is it gonna make her great? I don't think so. Is it gonna make her better? Maybe. And Fade Away now works in a way that you're invisible to minions when you start casting, meaning the archers can't hit you while going underground and interrupt your escape, which is also good. So overall, I see buffs being good in this regard. I think it's better this way. It's gotta make it really confusing what we should build on her though. So yeah, but she needed buffs, so it's justifiable. Yeah. Nemesis gets nerfs again. She got nerfs in terms of her ultimate once with a cooldown increase, and now Divine Judgment. They're introduced from 30 up to 50% of their current health to 20 to 40% of the current health. Slow and movement speed decreased from 25% at our ranks to 15% up to 25%. Now this is odd. The thing with Nemesis, I think, is not so much the health reduction, but rather the protection reduction, and the immediate one at that. That was the buff in the first place, and it's just awkward. Excuse me. She now has that really weak slow on her ultimate, like really weak, with 15% or whatever. She has less impact with the ultimate. She has got an increased cooldown, but the rest of her kit isn't touched. And I feel like this might actually make Nemesis less significant than before. I don't think she's gonna drop down completely, but if Thunder exists basically, and other junglers might be a lot more potent in many regards now. And I've always said that I don't want Nemesis to be a top tier, but I want Nemesis to be buffed in other places. I want her kit to be relevant overall, and her not just being a walking ult with a shield. And at the moment she's still a walking ult with a shield, and you can nerf and buff the ult as much as you want, and she's just gonna be a walking ult with a shield, and sometimes she's gonna be a bad walking ult with a shield, or a good walking ult with a shield. What about Slice and Dice? Why is Susano's pull ability basically the same as Slice and Dice, only that it pulls? Why can Slice and Dice not get scalings that allow for clear? What about the dash? Can we do something with the dash, like where you can use abilities in the middle of it? And I don't know what, you could do something cool with it, or maybe whatever. Make it so that you can make it a double dash somehow, like immediately doubling dashing without being interrupted in between or something. I don't know, but look at something else outside of the ultimate and stop, you know, fidgeting around with that in every regard. It makes sense to nerf the ult when you buff the rest of Nemesis, because the moment that Nemesis ult is too weak, she's useless, because she is too much about her ult for anything else to be important, and that's annoying in my opinion. It's, especially when Thunder exists, which can basically get this similar job done, and you can get execution as well. But yeah, like I said, I think it's not gonna kill her, but it might drop her down a fair bit. She might also stay in this very same place where she is. It's too early to say. We just have to see how the ultimate really feels in game now. And that moves us to Ne Zha. Visual representation has been updated. Alright, nothing major. Regen. The fuck, Regen. Rage damage has been reduced from up to 260 to 220. So that's cool, I guess. It's mostly a nice idea. Mostly good. Thunder Crash has also had a reduction of the damage, the scaling. Scaling's gone down from 40% to 20%. The thing for me is that Regen has a lot of damage, and that's obviously a thing that's annoying, but I'm okay with him having a lot of damage. He was never the utility mage, he was sold as, so hey, whatever, let him have a lot of damage. Work on the stupid Thunder Crash animation stuff. It's a free Aegis and the best escape in the game. It cannot be interrupted, it cannot be stopped. You use it, you're safe. And you have a wide range, and you can go over walls, and you cannot be targeted, and nothing is gonna harm you. And why is that? Why is that? It was one of the weaker escapes early on, and I think that was his weakness. I think that was the good part of him being, you know, an easy target when he didn't watch out, because he had a slow escape, and that was risky. Now he's still gonna get played, because just because of some scaling reduction, damage reduction, he's not gonna not get played. The escape is so safe and reliable. The only time you can really attack him very well is basically when he's in his ultimate and doesn't use his escape, where he deals a ton of damage to you. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't think it's good. Whatever. Moving on. Tosca gets another fix through the Cosmos, which has been like really weird with indications, but hey, happens. Terra gets nerfs. Terra gets justified nerfs. If you didn't know, Terra is hard to play in casuals. Many people struggle with that because she needs a coordinated team to work. This is the case in competitive. In competitive, she's been vastly overperforming top tier support with Fafnir. And I don't know why Fafnir didn't get major nerfs, but hey, she gets nerfed across the board. So we got Standing Stones getting a fix because the extra damage was actually calculated as true damage, so that's magical now. Good. Crushing Earth no longer has a slow between the stones, so it's gonna be harder to hit. So it's gonna be harder to confirm because you really need to hammer that thing right away, and otherwise the enemy will just get out because they're not slowed. And Monolith root duration decreased from 1.5 to 1 second. Now I think Monolith is still too strong. The root is in a massive radius, and it also offers you the benefit of not being knocked up and stuff like that. It gives you a double dash, and it has a massive radius of healing, and it's actually not that bad for clear, and that altogether is really strong. And I don't think that we're done with Terra yet. I think the Monolith might see further nerfs. In the same sense, Terra's Blessing gets a cooldown increase from 90 seconds to up to like starting from 110 to down to 90 seconds, which I think is good, and makes her a little more, you know, in the middle of the field rather. Yeah, that's it for these patch notes. Very unconventional format. We're back to normal next time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was interesting. I hope this was insightful. And I hope you can live with the fact that I couldn't do a thumbnail and all that stuff because, you know, being in a hotel room. Thank you guys for watching. DukeSloth out.